Hello, welcome back to the Cricketers podcast. All three of us back together again, once again. How good is that? How are you boys today?
Disappointed.
I'm not too bad, but I'm disappointed on behalf of Zach.
Yeah,
and just in general with RCB.
I agree. And I think I was hoping there was a better game there, actually. And I didn't think that that was really RCB's to lose today. But anyway, we'll get into it now. Let's just jump straight into the Rajasthan innings. So RCB actually won that toss and they decided to field first. But James, what did you make of the RR innings?
Well, it was off to a pretty poor start. So right off the bat, Mohammad Siraj came on. It was a relatively tight first over. And then Mohammad Siraj came on, got hit for a six first ball, a beautiful six by Devdutt Padikkal. And then he came back really strong. I think he came up with 2 dot balls and then got the wicket of Padikkal. And then we saw Ravi Ashwin come out at 3, which I love to see. I just think I'm loving the innovation that's coming from Ashwin this season. And he played a pretty handy cameo of 17 off 9. And it actually turned out to be the highest strike rate of the match, I think. So, big shout out to Ravi Ashwin, the pinch hitter now. But then RCB bowled really well and ended up skittling. Yeah, they got a very cheap wicket of Joss Buttler playing a nothing back foot shot from Josh Hazlewood, who was probably the standout bowler. And then we saw Sanju Samson get completely outfoxed by Hasaranga, trying to play a reverse sweep. And it looked pretty bleak for Rajasthan until Ryan Parag, he played a very handy knock and he was dropped on about 30 odd by Hasaranga. And it was an absolute dolly. It's probably harder to drop than to catch. And I think that was kind of a bit of a turning point because it went from Rajasthan looking like they were going to struggle to put up about 120 runs to suddenly having 144, which is it's a total. It's more than a runner ball. It's something you can work with, especially when you've got the bowling class of Rajasthan. So I think that sets up perfectly, actually, the batting innings of RCB, which I think I'll let Zach suffer and explain what happened there.
Yeah, cheers. Yeah, I can only really describe it as complacency, I think, which seems to happen with Royal Challengers. They go through a good run of games and then they hit a point where they don't look convincing, which is weird when you've seen them look like the best team in the tournament to suddenly looking not convincing. And yeah, Virat Kohli is looking very scratchy, which isn't helpful.
It's looking awful.
Faf du Plessis, if he doesn't get past that 20 mark and doesn't kick on, then he's made a bit of an impact, but he's not carried the team home, which we need him to do. Rajat Patidar looked all right. He was more rotating the strike rather than hitting the boundaries. And Glenn Maxwell, Golden Duck. So that's our top 4. And we're just not seeing enough runs from them this season. And that is an issue because you can't always rely on the middle to lower order, which is very good, but you can't always rely on them to win you the games. And when you're a middle to lower order who need that start, they need that foundation to kick on and win games or post a big score. When they don't have that, it's then a lot trickier. And yeah, Rajasthan were just very clinical. They bowled very tight lines. The spinners, Ashwin and Chahal, didn't give anything away. Kuldeep Sen, he's a quick lad, and it was a perfect pitch for him because all he needed to do was bang it into the pitch, and there was enough there for the batsman to struggle, and so he definitely deserved to get those 4 wickets. And none of the Rajasthan bowlers looked bad; they all looked very good, and it was just too much for Royal Challengers in the end. just annoyed about Wanindu Hasaranga for dropping the catch. That's the difference. Really.
Yeah,
It was criminal.
We just interesting that you touched on Cordeep Sen, because I think that he actually, for me, was my hero. If we go to heroes and villains, because it's only his third IPL game, and so far all we've seen him do is try to bowl as close to 90 mile an hour as possible on the spot. But today he chucked in a few variations and looked really good, and I think the pitch helped him a bit. It was clearly a day out for the fast bowlers, I thought, today anyway. So well done, Cordeep Sen, only having your third game. And actually, I quite enjoyed Darren Mitchell today for his IPL debut. My villain for me is the RCB batting order. I think 7 was a bit too late for Dinesh Karthik today, especially how he's such a good player of spin. I think if he had gone in that number 5 slot, let him play his natural game rather than have to go at 10 and over, play his natural game to chase and finish and get that score up, might have just put RCB in a better stead.
My hero is going to be none of Royal Challengers players, funnily enough. Rian Parag is probably the hero for taking 4 catches and scoring a 50, which they were saying on commentaries. Is the second time that's happened in the history of the IPL. The first time was Jacques Callis back in the day.
It's good company, that.
Yeah, and I think he's the hero because he made the most of that drop catch. If he'd gone out the next ball, then it wouldn't have made a big difference. And I think he allowed Rajasthan to get what I thought was 20 runs too many. They shouldn't have got that. And Royal Challengers, they could have bowled a bit better, even though they bowled well, could have bowled better. And then villain, Hasaranga for dropping the catch, because when you're chasing 120 or 130 even, there's a different mindset when you go into that chase. And the bowlers aren't as G'd up, and so bit annoyed, but there we go. James?
Yeah. My hero of the match is going to be Ravi Ashwin, because he bowled brilliantly and he batted well as well. And my villain is going to be Dinesh Karthik, because he gave up when he was running because he thought he was going to be run out, and Chahal fumbled the ball. So if Karthik had actually tried to plow on and stay, actually go for it, he'd have stayed in, and who knows what could have happened. So never give up is the lesson from the cricket nerds.
And let that be a lesson to all those RCB fans, right? We're going to come back strong. We still only need to win about 3 of our last 5 games. Yeah. We got this, right? We're gonna nail it. We're gonna win.
So that brings us on to comment of the day, doesn't it?
Comment of the day, yeah.
Do you have it, mate?
I've got comment of the day. It is, for me, Sebastian Matthew, who the other day said, I was depressed about the RCB loss, but I'm now happy that CSK lost. That's just bitter. I hope you're even sadder today now that RCB have lost again. What's our hashtag?
The hashtag is...
Hashtag play bold.
Hashtag play. If you're still here, hashtag play bold. Thank you very much for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, follow us on our social medias. Listen to us on all podcast platforms: Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. That's yes.
Anchor FM,
Spotify, Anchor FM, all of the podcasts, and tomorrow. Tomorrow is Gujarat Titans versus Sunrisers Hyderabad. Very quick prediction. Zach, go.
Sunrisers Hyderabad.
Sunrisers win the toss and elect to bowl and win the game.
I will predict Sunrisers to lose the toss and therefore lose the game. So tomorrow it comes down pretty much to the toss. So as I said, thank you very much for watching. Have a blessed day, and we will see you tomorrow.